Hi friends. So I was about to journal and then I was like, why don't I record a video and show you people my journaling process? Maybe somebody can get a journal and also start journaling. And I keep saying it all the time. It is one thing that will change your life. Journaling will change your life so much. It will calm your mind. We who have so much in our heads, you can see from my sentences that there's usually a lot in my head, and journaling just helps me pour my thoughts on paper. And you don't even have to be fancy. All you need is a pen and a journal. Just one. Okay, all you need is just one pen and a journal, and you'll be like, okay, so where do I start from? So there's a girl on the internet who has been shouting about journaling, and I got a journal and she said we should start journaling. Literally writing that down is the act of journaling, and as the days go by, you will see something interesting, be like, what happened today? Okay, this and this and this happened. Okay, what happened? I've been thinking about this, let me write it down. I saw something interesting, let me write it down. Okay, and that is how you get into the habit of journaling. Now me I have a lot of journals, and it's not because of a flex, but sometimes I'm like, some thoughts need to be kept somewhere special, right? So I have different types of journals, and I don't use them every day. I have an everyday journal where I carry with me almost everywhere, but I have different types of journals. For example, this journal, I call it my special journal. I've had it since the first time I wrote in it was in 2022, September 2022, and I still have it. There's still a lot of pages. I write in it maybe a few times a year, once or twice. Say when the year is starting, it's like a special time. I journal about it, how I vision the year to look like. I journal in this, something special happens in my life, maybe my birthday, I journal here. So it's not an everyday journal. Once, twice, 3 times a year. So since 2022, 2023, 2024, 2025, we are in 2026, and I still have this journal, and I doubt if I'll complete it this year because since January 1st that I journaled here, I haven't journaled again because apparently nothing special has happened, right? I have this journal. There are letters. I write letters here. So every journal here is a letter, and I don't think you want to know the details. Now, when 2026 was starting, I bought 3 new journals. Apparently, I'm addicted to buying journals. I bought 3 new journals. This is now my everyday journal, the one I carry everywhere. And I give my journals names. Even though this one, the name isn't fancy. It's called Still Becoming, because I had a journal last year that was called Becoming. And then this is Still Becoming. This is my everyday journal. I'm still in January, right? But I'm almost like I've really gone. I'm sure I'll finish this before mid-year or around June, and then I'll have to get another journal because I have so much to rant about, people. So what do you write about? Let's see. Every journal entry, I have a title for it that encaptures what I'm going to write. But sometimes the title does. I write the title and finish and end up just journaling about something else. But I have weird, like just random things I write about. For example, I hope you can see the first page of this journal is called The Beginning. What's that? Because I said this is the beginning of a new journal in a new month, in a new year. I'm excited to go through the pages of this journal in 2026. So I just write about I'm starting a new journal in a new year, in a new month, in a new week. What do I expect to do, right? So it's not really hard. And then my second entry was who am I becoming in 2026, right? Because I said this journal is called Still Becoming. So who do I want to be at the end of the year? If I look back, who would I have become as a person? Journaling is so interesting, right? So I just write normal things. For example, I was journaling about managing my evenings, right? I somehow have my mornings figured out. Like I know the time I have to wake up, what I have to do next, but in the evenings it's just horrible. And I was journaling about how do I want my evenings to look like. I want to go to the gym, people. I want to go to the gym, right? So like thinking of okay, this evening what do I want to do, this evening what do I want to do, at what time, that kind of things, just to figure out how to make my evenings useful. It doesn't have to be productive, it just has to work for me because I press phone too much and it's bad. Okay, I cannot spend 3 or 4 hours in the evening just pressing phones. That's a bad habit to have in 2026. So I journal about how I want to manage my evenings. I journal about, I can't tell you everything I journal about, people. Like, for example, it's Friday. I just wrote about it's Friday and wrote about what was happening in that Friday. And then I have an entry called a day to journal more. It means I had time the day and I just wanted to write things. And sometimes I just go in the internet and I look for journal prompts, like, okay, what should I journal about? Somebody will just give you something that will make you think, and then you journal about. So, for example, do you want to hear this? About love and maybe idols. What does that even mean? It was an idea I was just thinking about, like about love, and to an extent, like when you make love or people an idol in your life. And I wrote so many pages on this. I cannot read to you, people. Shh, it's for my journal only, my eyes only. So this, just on that idea about love and idols. You see why journaling is good? Sometimes when I'm reading a book and something strikes me, so this is a book I'm currently reading, and I was just journaling about what I saw in the book. I was journaling about, things, right? There's just so much to journal about. Sometimes I don't have time, but there's just so much to journal about, Anyway, this is becoming boring. So this is my everyday journal. I'm about to journal for today. I haven't journaled yet. For example, what's in my mind today? I have things to do that I'm procrastinating about, or I can just journal about the day. I'm going to be home the whole of today. I'm going to cook and eat and blah blah blah, and just write it down. That's it. It doesn't require a lot of work. Now, this journal I haven't started yet, so when I finish with this will be the one that will replace this journals. Now, I have this journal. I've just written. This journal is called Memory. I've written just, I think, a page in this journal. Just 2 pages. Is it 2 pages or 1 page? 2 pages. So I was reading a book called Bird by I've forgotten the name of the author, and it's a book on writing and about life. And the author was given, I call them assignments from the book, where the author is like, sometimes you are like, I don't know what to write, which is the same as journaling. You don't know what to journal. What do I journal about? And she's like, write about memories. Like, what's your earliest memory you can remember as a human being? What can you remember from high school, from college, from Christmas, how you grew up spending Christmas, right? So I was like, I'm going to use this journal. It's not an everyday journal. The first time I journaled was January 30th, and I haven't journaled in a year. So I was like, I'm going to call this journal Memory. And the first page is about what this journal is going to say, like the name of the journal and what inspired me to start this journal. And then I wrote the first thing here, and I haven't journaled in it yet. So basically, that's just me being the complicated girl who has a lot of journals for different things, because there's just so much in my head I need to pour down. But all you need is just one journal and a pen. Sometimes you can just I even have smaller books, just something small like this. You can go you can be walking around with it to journal. Other people journal with their phones, with their computers. I do that sometimes, but I don't like it. I like writing with pen and paper, especially in an age where you can go weeks without anything warranting you to write with your hand. Writing with your hand feels really nice. And I'm keeping a stack of journals. So far, I've completed a few journals that I've kept somewhere, but I'm just keeping them, and I want to continue like this. Imagine the next 50 years of me journaling like this. There's just so much information about me, right? And sometimes I go back and open something to read, and I'm like, oh my god, I would have forgotten about the day if I hadn't written it down, right? I would have forgotten special moments that has happened in my life if I hadn't written it down. They're just things I'm learning. The last time I was journaling about an African proverb that was in my mind. Let me see if I can read it to you. The title of the entry is The African Proverb. I got up thinking about an African proverb. It's been on my mind for a while, actually. I don't even know how it relates to me now, but here is it. Let the young man in his desperation go out and hunt. If he kills the elephant, his poverty ends. If the elephant kills him, his poverty ends. What is the elephant in front of me right now? Right? So now this is something that is making me to just think about my life. What kind of poverty is demanding me to step into the hunt? Questions. The thing is, there's no third option. Doing nothing means he dies, because how will he survive? But going hunting gives him 50-50 chances. But something must die, either his poverty or himself. And then I now go about to talk about myself and like how I see things, right? So you don't need something special. You just need to, like some things will just pop in. For example, this journal entry is called "What a Day," and there's a quote I just wrote "What a Day," and then now started. There's a quote from the book "Eat That Frog" by Brian Tracy that says, "If it is your job to eat a frog, it's best to do it first thing in the morning. And if it's your job to eat 2 frogs, it's best to eat the biggest one first." And then I now go about, because I had things to do that I had been dreading about, and I decided to just step up and send some emails to some people, and their responses surprised me, right? So I was just thinking about the quotes. I have read Eat That Frog many years ago, and because of what happened in my day, portion of that book came to my mind where he says that if you have a frog to eat it early in the morning and get on with your life. So if you have certain things to do, just go ahead and do them so that you can be free. Do you get? Yeah. So basically, that's how I'm going to be journaling in 2026. Will you join me? Will you get a journal? Let's do a journaling challenge. We can do a gratitude journaling challenge where every morning you write things you're grateful for, or at the end of the day you write things you're grateful for. We can do, there was a time I was doing like a short story challenge where I just sit down and write a short story of things, like just stare out your window, what can you see, and then write a short story about it. Very interesting. It's hard but it's very interesting. Usually when my favorite things are when I go back to read my journal entries. Sometimes I'm shocked. I even cry. I even cry because I'm like, what? I wrote this happened in my day, I didn't remember. But when I go back to the pages of the journal, I find them now. So people, are you going to journal this year or not? Don't let me shout for nothing. Please like my video, like my channel, and I am going to journal for today. I have some things in my mind I want to journal about before I start my day, and I'll see you in the next video. In fact, you're going to be tired of me because I have so many videos coming, unless you don't want to hear me rant. If you want to hear me rant, like, subscribe, share with a friend, and I'll see you later. Bye.